Hi, everybody. Welcome back to In the Know. This is our series that digs into the details on a variety of topics regarding the 2025 World Conference. My name is Jenn Killpack, and I serve the church as Director of Communications.
And I am Susan Naylor, and I serve as the World Church Secretary and the First Presidency's Office Director. And we both serve as members of the World Conference Directors Team. Oh,
I
whew.
know. It's hard to believe that we're so close to World Conference. I think everyone is getting really, really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And since it's become a pattern of our In the Know series, hey, Jen, guess what?
I don't know what.
There's 10 days until World Conference begins. 10 days.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, it's hard to think about, and also at the same time, we've been planning and talking about conference for so long.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. And it
Yeah.
seems like we've been talking a lot, and now it's here.
Yes, for sure.
So my list is getting shorter. What about yours?
I think mostly it's getting shorter. Every once in a while, something gets added back on, but or did you remember to do something and something? So,
Yeah,
it's not completely done yet, but like you said, 10 more days. I think it'll be fine.
it's starting to look really real around here. So today is our last episode of the 2025 In the Know conference series. And we thought that we'd bring a series of things to know that would help your conference experience be the best that it can be. So, what if we start out by talking about the weather, Jen?
Yeah. So for people who are familiar with where Independence is located, it's in the Midwest of, or after the middle of the United States, and our weather is always a little bit crazy. But since we're about 10 days out from the event start, we can see really just up to the first weekend in the long range forecast. But right now, the weather looks fabulous. So it's about low 80s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Fahrenheit.
opening weekend. What?
Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah, Fahrenheit. Definitely Fahrenheit. And I don't have my converter really fast with me, but and then in the low 60s overnight. So partly cloudy, mostly sunny. Um, looks pretty good for the first weekend.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So, this should be a really nice for opportunities to be outside at the World Plaza, going between buildings, and having the opportunity just to spend outside meeting people and enjoying a full conference experience. So, if you are in the Independence area on Friday night, May 30th, after the discussion sessions in the afternoons, we invite you to stop by the World Plaza at 6 p.m. that evening and experience what is called Sacred Pulse. This is a local ministry from Center for Living Water, which is a field initiative hosted here at the temple and is a worship service. Sacred Pulse is a unique gathering formed around sacred music in a reflective space, and you can anticipate to sing together, listen deeply, and keep your hearts open as we encounter new spiritual invitations. So, nice little perk as we start our conference experience.
Yeah,
6 o'clock on Friday.
sounds really fun. I've been to one or two of the experiences inside the temple, but I'm looking forward to being outside on the plaza this time. On another worship note, last Friday, the communications team sent out an announcement about a change in location for the two worship experiences over the opening weekend. So the change, I think it's easy to remember. All worship experiences on Saturday and Sunday will be in the conference chamber. The rest of the week, the evening worship services will be in the temple. So
Yeah,
Sunday communion, no, Saturday evening, Sunday communion, and Sunday evening will all be in the conference chamber.
right. We thought it was important to note that there is opportunity for everyone who would like to be in the room for the Saturday evening service of singing our story and for recognizing President Vesey. And also, if her call is approved earlier in the day, for the Sunday evening ordination service for Stacy Cram. So, and also remember, if you're not in Independence for World Conference, you can also watch on a live stream on the church's YouTube channel of all the worship experiences. And we also plan to stream the opening legislative session on Saturday morning and the Sunday afternoon legislative session, where the conference will deliberate and vote on Stacey Cram's call to Prophet President. So lots of opportunities.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a departure from years previous, where we've only live streamed at no extra, no registration fee, just open to the public legislative sessions. So this time, the sessions that Susan mentioned, that opening legislative session and the Sunday afternoon session, are both going to be streamed to our YouTube channel as well.
Right.
And then if you want to watch the rest of the legislative sessions, you can register for legislative streaming. It is located in the registration section of the Sea of Christ World Conference page. And once you registered there through Zoom event, you get a unique invitation Zoom link to watch those legislative sessions. They're not two-way, it's more like webinar, but you'll have access to watch all of those legislative sessions all week long. And then let's talk a little bit about orders of worship. We've had a couple of questions already come into the communications box, and also I think on Facebook, specifically about the communion service. Like, will the order of worship be posted for those, for that service, for people who want to watch and participate simultaneously? The answer is yes, those will be posted. Currently they're in translations, so as soon as we have the English, French, and Spanish order of worship, we'll get those posted. And from our comms team today, I understand the links will be available in the schedule on seaofchrist.org and the World Conference page. So in the schedule section, you'll see links, and then there will also be created a special worship page, which will have links to all the orders of worship, where you can find the YouTube link, and also I think links for how to give if you want to support the conference through your offerings too.
Oh, that's very cool. I like the idea of it being on the schedule. That's awesome. Hadn't heard that. So it is so cool, I think, to know congregations and groups around the world are worshiping along with us here in Independence, and participating in communion as all together. And so just that concept of just a whole worldwide church is just, I don't know. There's just no words for that. So let me see. What else should people know to make their conference experience the best that it can be, Jen?
One of the things that's going to be a little different this year is if you are use the translation service or hearing assistance, this year you can bring your own device, so mobile phone or laptop maybe, or tablet, and the headphones of your choice. So to hear the language translation, or if you need hearing assistance in English, the audio is going to be streamed through an app called Listen Wi-Fi, and you can download the app before you get to conference. We'll be sharing information with registered attendees later this week, and then again next week. So the way the app works, I can maybe even show you. Here on my little screen is, it's really not hard. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Super kind of hard to see.
It's that black one, right?
It's the blue one.
Oh, it's the blue one. Okay.
Sorry, blue. Oh my gosh, I'm a disaster. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
You can't see that. Anyway, I'll send pictures. It's like Monday. What? So the app is called Listen Wi-Fi, and you once you click it open, it will try to scan for the Wi-Fi that you're attached to. So it won't work at your house. It will only work at conference when you're logged in or connected to the public Wi-Fi. So when you get here, to Independence, you can open the app and then it will automatically scan for audio streams that are available on this Wi-Fi network. And then from there, you can choose the language you want to listen to and just settle in for a week of great audio.
That sounds really cool. So,
we will also have a small number of tablets that we've used the last, I think, 2 conferences for people who don't have their own device. But I would just say, like, if you're going to be using either the language translation or the hearing assistance, it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth to listen, but it will like use your battery. So you may want to think about bringing an external battery or charger. I know that Kara and her team are going to set up a couple of additional like charging stations, like power strips where you can plug that in, but you'll need to bring, your charger and stuff. So maybe you can charge that between sessions if you need to recharge your battery.
Oh, great information to know. I know we're still looking for a few more ushers. And so Aaron Kackler is coordinating ushering. And because we have moved from the temple to the auditorium, we could use a few more ushers. And so if you have some availability and you're going to be at the worship service, it always provides you with a reserved seat. And it's a good thing to have. So having ushers and collecting our offerings and sharing in that ministry is so very valued. So we really appreciate that. So again, it's Aaron Kackler here at seaofchrist.org, Kackler. So what else, Jen?
You still have a couple of days. I almost said a couple of weeks. You don't have a couple of weeks.
Oh.
You have a couple of days still. You have the remainder of this week to share your reflections on the Hope Is prompts. I think we talked about that at a recent In the Know session. It's a short survey online. There are links in the conference page or on the conference page in the preparation section. And then also, I think we'll be posting something again on social this week. So they're really simple, like prompt. I think there's 4 different prompts, just encouraging and inviting people to share their response to these 4 different prompts. So next week, we'll be printing those responses on small cards and just having them put and placed around the complex in a variety of places. So you'll just kind of never know when you're walking around where hope will show up.
That's right. So that's very cool. When you check in for registration, you'll be given a name badge. And if you chose the print option, you'll get a packet of materials. If you chose the digital option, you can access those materials through our ministry tools. And this is just a reminder, if you also purchased a meal ticket and or a conference bundle, we've had questions about where am I going to get those? This is can't quite fold it back, Jen, but this is the name tag. And Elaine Adams, you get to be the sample name tag as we're playing with these. And so this name tag will actually be folded up like this in your badge holder. But at the bottom of your name badge will be if you bought the conference bundle, and you can tear that off in exchange for the conference bundle. And then if you bought a meal ticket, it's here in the middle, and you can tear that off. Make sure you don't lose it. But as you go through the meal line, they will punch that for that meal, and it will note how many meals you purchased. So just everything, hopefully, when you come to a registration. And let me just say about registration, it opens next Wednesday and Thursday at the auditorium in the West Foyer at 10 o'clock. I think it's from 10 to 3. If you're in the area and can come pick up your materials and check in, that will help with our lines over the weekend. On Friday, it opens at, I believe, 9 and closes at 7 p.m. And we will keep it open as long as there's a line there to make sure everybody gets through. The important part is, with the opening legislation starting at 8:30, people are going to need the next morning on Saturday. People are going to need their materials sooner than later, and so it's going to open at, what did we
7:30.
7:30 on Saturday morning. And but if you have someone that can pick up your materials, we can do that. Just trying to make sure people get their materials as quickly as possible so they can be ready to participate, especially by Saturday morning at 8:30. So, whew,
I know. It's coming.
it's coming.
Susan mentioned electronic materials. So if you chose the digital materials, those are located, as she said, on Ministry Tools. I forgot also to say that I'm really happy to have Becca and Kristen with us today doing tech support and whatever. So I'm going to share screen, I think. I'm going to try. Okay, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm a current user. I already logged in today once, so it's not making me log in right now because I already did. And then when you get here you can see the World Conference site. And so if you click this, can you still see that?
It hasn't changed yet, Jen. It still
Okay.
just says our Ministry Tools.
Let's see. Now.
There it is.
Okay. So now you're seeing the World Conference page in Spanish, and you can change the language up here in the corner. Change it over to English. So this is where documents and legislation is located. We'll be posting the schedule later this week. Your daily bulletins will be listed, will be here. We'll share some just basic information, some of the things that we talked about here and things that are in the program book. And then here is a link to the menus. So when you click on right now, documents and legislation, you can read the legislation. And then as soon as the materials are printed, we will end up putting them into what's called the document library. And this is actually where you find some things now. But you'll be able to find the hymnal here. You'll be able to find the program and legislation book, which is all in one this year. And then all the daily bulletins will be listed here too. So this is the library. I keep forgetting to say share this tab.
Yep, there it goes.
So that is where you can find materials. And if you have questions about that, let us know. I would maybe verify this week that you have access to Ministry Tools. And if not, then go ahead and start that process about requesting access.
Yes.
And then I think the final versions of everything has gone to print. So I'm working with our designers to get final PDFs available of that material. So I would imagine that we'd have that stuff posted either late this week or at the very beginning of next week for digital materials. So at least the beginning parts of things should be available late this week or early next week.
So, well, I'll give a quick shout out to Jen's team who is working on all of that. And with the tumultuous weather that we've had here in the Midwest and on the East Coast, we've had staff that had electricity challenges and other things. So our prayers and thanks go out to those that are keeping conference moving along. So thank you so much. And finally, I'm sure there's a myriad other things we can share, but for today, finally, some registration statistics. We have almost 1,700 people who have registered for the conference. Of those, we've had 391 that have filled out the conference volunteer form. So I just want to say a big shout out and a thank you to all who volunteer. I've seen people in our chats over here saying I'm going to be an usher. Really appreciate that, because it takes a many hands to make all of this work, and we really appreciate those who have volunteered and will continue to volunteer. Our youth service corps, which are ages 13 to 18 or so, who act as pages and who help out and just distributing daily bulletins and all kinds of different errands. We have around 40 kids that are going to be helping this conference with those needs, and we really appreciate the roles that they take during that time. Our conference kids has maxed out how many conference kids they can take in right now. We have over 47 kids that are going to be participating in that, and they have an amazing staff. And so, if I just disappear from Conference Gen, maybe you'll find me in Conference Kids because they look like they're going to have a lot of fun. And for the first time I can't remember, maybe there's never been a first time, but the first time conference childcare is also maxed out. And we added staff in order to take in a few more children and provide childcare for children. And we have now maxed out our space. And so childcare is closed right now. But I mean, we got a lot of people coming and very excited. The Council of 12 starts meeting later this week, and International Leaders Meetings begins next Wednesday. Those 10 days are going to go fast. So, do we have any questions, Jen?
I'm just going to look through the chat here. I see a lot of people who are excited to be coming, and we're excited to see you.
Yep.
More excitement about coming. I don't think there's any questions. So,
well,
everyone's just super excited, which is fine.
Well, me too. I am ready for this to begin. So, I just want to thank everyone for joining us in this In the Know series. And remember, you can find conference information and registration links on seaofchrist.org/2025-world-conference, or go to the church's website and click on Connect and Events, and you'll find that link there. Jen, I've enjoyed sharing this time with you and in these In the Know sessions. And I know we both look forward to seeing everyone here and in Independence or online. And I'm just ready. Let's go.
Yep. Like you said, during the week of conference, updates will be shared at seaofchrist.org/news. You can join us for worship at youtube.com/seaofchrist. That's our channel. And then make sure that you're following at Sea of Christ on Instagram and Facebook. The team has some really fun things planned for the week on social too. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody and connecting, whether you're here or online.
All right. Jen, we did have a couple quick last minute questions. Do we want to see if we can cover those?
Of course.
Yes. One is, did I miss the information on what to wear each day?
No, we probably didn't really talk about that, did we?
No. We've seen everything from comfortable to, someone has said they would say business casual but when it's warm outside, shorts, are could be expected. It depends if you're 18 or if you're 85. What would you wear to church, I guess, and what would be comfortable. A lot of times we've said reunion attire, um, but obviously in the conference chamber and in the temple sanctuary, um, you know, best judgment and be respectful. That's probably my best advice. Jen, any other thought?
I feel like that pretty much covers it.
Okay.
It does sometimes get chilly. The AC, the air conditioning works well in the chamber, so sometimes it does get a little cool.
Yes.
But it's summertime, outside, you might want to throw a light jacket or sweatshirt or something in your bag if you get chilly indoors.
Yep, that's good advice.
What else? There'll be, I just think of all these things now. There will be water stations, like water bottle filler stations all around the complex. There are some that are permanent. The water fountain with the bottle filler, like you've seen at airports and other places. There are several of those around the complex, and then there'll also be big just water filler jug stations as well.
And you already mentioned the charging stations.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, your comment on bringing a jacket or a sweater, I find in the summer that's a good thing to keep on hand. And so, and then we have one more question. What is the typical registration number for World Conference? I don't know if there's a typical. I mean, it has fluctuated over the years. Right now, we are probably on track to be close to what it was in 23. So they are certainly not the size of conferences that, from the 1960s, 70s, even 80s. But no matter the size of the group, the spirit is always strong, and we all grow and benefit from being together. And there's one more question there, Jen.
Is Wi-Fi good for laptops? Yes. So the Wi-Fi and actually all of the fiber has been upgraded since last conference. The tech support team is really happy with the amount of load it can handle. Even saying that, though, the conference itself is going to be using a lot more of the bandwidth than it has in the past because of the now 3 remote sites that we're hosting, as well as the audio for translations, etc. So while you should not have any issue, they are asking everyone to make sure that your hotspots are turned off during legislative sessions, just to ensure that the bandwidth that the conference needs to run smoothly is available. But outside of those sessions, if you need to check in work or, whatever else you might need to do, you should have plenty of bandwidth for that.
Yeah. All good questions. So, all right, Jen. Well, I think we will sign off and say goodbye until we see you at conference. So, thank you, everyone.
Hope you have a great day.